It's Tehachapi time. Key Budge, Greg, Garrett, Ashley Whitmore. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, Key. Thank you.
Yeah, doing well.
Yeah.
It's nice to have you here, Ashley. I say that to you because
I appreciate it.
it's about every other episode that you're in here.
Yes, and this time without Corey. So this is going to be a great episode.
So, we keep beating this dead horse, but, I really like being Ashley on my right and no Corey on my left. Yeah. Just saying. Key, right before we started recording, you said this is our 98th episode for the year.
Yes. So we're in season 3. This is episode 98 today.
Wow, congratulations.
So we're going to hit 100 before the end of the year,
will,
right?
For sure.
All right.
Yeah. We had 45 episodes season 1 in 2020, which started March of 2020, right when COVID was hitting. 45 episodes later, we said, hey, let's come back for season 2. 65 episodes in 2021, which has now grown to, we're going to hit that century mark this year here in 2022. And it just shows the amount of effort that it takes for me to produce and find the guests has lessened and lessened and lessened because people are coming and asking or saying, hey, can we share this? So it takes very little effort to have these conversations. They were able to kind of do it with the spontaneity of it is, to me, is a part of this factor of having the conversation like we're going to have today. It's get you guys coming down the hallway. Hey, can I grab you for 15, 20 minutes and let's have a conversation about the city council meeting and things going on? Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's do it. And it's a conversation we probably would have anyway, but we're able to record it. And so we've taken advantage of that in how we style the format of the episodes, and we were able to put out more information than we have in the past.
Well, it's just another vehicle. We have our social media platforms. We have, as you pointed out, city council meetings, planning commission meetings. Front door of City Hall is always open, email, text, whatever. It's just yet another way to communicate with our customers.
It reaches out, too, to Bear Valley, Stallion. I get comments all the time out there. They're not residents within the city limits, but the greater Tehachapi area is really benefiting from this.
Yeah, they pay attention and they hear what we're doing here as a government agency and how we interact with the community. I think they also kind of take that back maybe to their government agencies and kind of say, hey, what's this conversation? Are we having this conversation out there in those communities? So I think it's healthy for all of us.
Absolutely. I know that the city of Ridgecrest has been working closely with Yuki and others here at the city about improving their social media platforms, their communication platform, let's say, not social media, just everything communication. And, we're all rising together in Kern. It's a good thing.
I think when we all come from that same perspective of, when you see something that's working, and this has been working very well for us, where the community has a better understanding for how we operate as a municipality, then these other municipalities, our neighbors, start to look and go, hey, how come you're getting this kind of interaction from your community and we don't see that? We see something different. And then we start to talk about the philosophy of getting information out as quickly as we can so you get it from the horse's mouth versus through rumor control or the troll that's on a keyboard warrior that creates their own version of what the truth is. So it's nice to see these other agencies adopting that as their philosophy.
And we're always open for more too. If somebody else has an idea on a different platform, let us know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we had a city council meeting this week as we kick off December, the first week of December, and we have projects. And one of those things that I thought, I'm not sure where you wanted to start, Greg, but the one point that kind of I keyed on was Jay's conversation about he's been here, like in 20 years or close to that. And in that time period, there's been 30 capital projects that have come through or more than that. It was in this one format of funding. I was astounded by that number of amount of projects within this certain criteria of grant that we've been able to, capitalize on throughout the years.
Well, there's so many grant opportunities, let's say, out there for different agencies, whether it's cities or CSDs or private individuals. But at the city, far too many to list here today. But certainly when Jay was referring, it was an agreement between the City of Tehachapi and Caltrans for federal money, FHWP, I believe it was, the acronym, and it was for the repaving of Valley Boulevard. So this particular one was project number 42 in the city.
Right.
And I think he referred to, you're right, he'd overseen 30 plus projects since he started almost 20 years ago or so. That's a big deal. just to get a project or two sometimes is an effort, to say the least. And he's produced him and his team, the city, produced and delivered over 30 projects with this single, a source of funds.
And I would think that, like that word you used, delivered, is a key ingredient in getting grants again. That if you don't come through on a project, I would bet that you probably drop down to the bottom of the barrel of like, okay, they didn't produce last time, so let's kind of go over and look at this other agency that did.
Yeah, if you don't produce, if you don't hire the right contractor, if you don't produce the product, whatever it is, the project, whoever's giving you the money is or facilitating the money, they don't want to work with you again. We have a lot of sister agencies around us that struggle with that. You have to get your paperwork in order. The asphalt has to be correct, and we want it to be correct. So it's an art, let's say, and we've perfected that art at the City of Tehachapi. Very proud of our team.
Well, let's since we've kind of highlighted that as at least I picked that as one of the highlights. Let's talk a little bit about that. What Jay brought to council and where we're at with that. Is this something that's just in the design phase?
Right now, yes. So it was the first box to check, the first city council action for this particular project, and that is to repave Valley Boulevard from Curry, let's say, to Mountain View. I'm roughly using those boundaries. We may look to expand that, that's for sure. Repaving Valley from Curry to Mountain View. Hopefully this coming summer. It may go into the next summer because of processes and paperwork and bidding and all those sorts of things, and when the actual budget was programmed at the state level. So we always have to look out. Usually things are, it's not you get the grant and you go do it, right? You have a year, 2, 3, 4 years sometimes before you can actually obtain the funding to produce the product.
Okay.
One of the things I noticed at the meeting that's, I think, very important for our residents to understand is the roads that we can and cannot use this money for. So you have potholes maybe, or you feel like your street that you live on is maybe falling apart. But these funds can only be used for certain roads throughout the city.
That it's considered a thoroughfare? Or
yeah, we say that a lot, and it's worth repeating pretty regularly because certain grant funding sources will only allow you to do main arteries, and neighborhood streets, that's general fund money. That's City of Tehachapi's, sales tax, retail tax, or property tax. Caltrans, the federal government, the state government, they don't fund neighborhood streets. And I know everybody would like to have their street paved. So would I. But we can only work within the boundaries of that particular grant.
Okay.
Kind of frustrating for me. I'm pretty vocal about that. I think that local control, right. as we all know, the voters in the City of Tehachapi, they trusted us with the sales tax increase going from 7.25% to 8.25%, and they trusted us because they want us to continue to deliver product. And thank God we have that, because we'll continue to work at achieving greatness on every corner of our city.
Well, you bring up Measure S, so let's talk about that briefly, because there may be some people listening that haven't heard what some of the results were, because it's taken an extended period of time to kind of get final or close to final results on this recent election.
So Measure S was a proposition that the City Council agreed to put on the ballot for November. The voters of the City of Tehachapi, it required a simple majority, so 50% of the people that vote plus one vote. So we received about 58 and a little bit percent, which is a solid win. The County of Kern has not yet certified that vote, but I can certainly say that the residents trust the city to continue to do the right thing. They trust City Hall, and that was a vote of confidence. And I appreciate that and thank everyone for that in a big, big way, because we will continue to prioritize things like public safety and infrastructure. And thank goodness we're in control of our own destiny rather than allowing the state of California and others to manipulate us, to raid our coffers. We must be in control, and this puts us on the right course to remaining in control of our own destiny here in the City of Tehachapi.
Okay. So, and with the passing of that, it means that the sales tax at our retail in the City of Tehachapi goes up 1 cent for every dollar. Right. That for instead of it being, was it 7.25%, it'll be 8.25%. 7.25% was the lowest legally it could be. Mm-hmm. This is still going to be well below the maximum level that a sales tax can be, which is nice.
And well below many of the communities around us.
Yeah,
Right.
Antelope Valley, Lancaster, Palmdale, they're 10.25 or maybe 10.5. I'm not sure, but we expect that to bring about $4 million additional money into our general fund. And a lot of the retail tax revenue that we receive is from out-of-towners. So it's really a really nifty way to gain more revenue for our residents. If you 80% or plus or minus of the people that shop at the Walmarts and the Home Depots and places, they do not live in the city. So the residents of the city are going to be the big winners here.
Okay, so that's good. We've talked about it. I know we've had a lot of requests from media to make comments, and it's like, we're not there. We're waiting for the county to certify, but we're at that point now.
And again,
that we
I think,
can go ahead
Ashley,
and
when
make
is
this comment.
It's coming up here this week or next week. When does the county certify?
The county has 30 days to certify. We have not received that yet, but that should be within the next few days.
I know that there's still there was still a race between Hurtado and someone else. It's within a couple votes, and it can take forever. But you got to be right. You got to be right with this stuff. You cannot get it wrong.
All right, so let's roll back to the city council meeting. We talked about the striping efforts, or is that what we? No,
we were talking about the asphalt. Mm-hmm.
Asphalt, and now we want to go ahead and talk about Jay. He's got the striping.
Jay always has a lot, doesn't he?
He does.
Which is really cool, actually, because these are enhancements and maintenance of our infrastructure. But he calls it the enhanced striping. What does that mean? That means paint on asphalt. The center lines, the shoulders, the crosswalks, those sorts of things. So
that's huge for public safety.
It is. And it's a reflective, when it comes to the winter, you can see it with your lights, you're in the fog, different things. We usually try to do this once a year, sometimes every couple years, depending on the streets and the amount of traffic. But we'll be restriping some of East Tehachapi Boulevard, Denison Road, some of Tucker, Cherry Lane, Mountain View to Tucker, and Mulberry, just to name a few, a smattering. We have a map that was actually attached to the staff report. So if anybody has any questions, they can go right to that map and look up the street if they're so inclined, or call us. We'd be happy to do that. Because of the weather, you have to have a nice dry asphalt. It can't be raining or snowing or anything like that, of course. We've awarded the contract last night, and the contractor has a couple months to do this job. So we look forward to seeing fresh new paint on our asphalt.
Okay.
Yeah, good stuff.
And then also, Jay, when we say Jay, it's Jay Schlosser, our Development Services Director. And we brought in a conversation about the rodeo grounds, the event center, and the grandstands.
Right. So at the north side of the airport, we have the Tehachapi Event Center and rodeo grounds. We've had an agreement, great partnership with TMRA, Tehachapi Mountain Rodeo Association. So the rodeo grounds over there, and enhancements have been made over the years. More than 10 years ago, the city bought some grandstands for that facility. They're there now, but we've identified some areas. We had an engineer look at it, and those grandstands need to be enhanced. The last thing we want is a grandstand to, crumble when somebody's on it, that's for sure. Safety is, we always begin and end everything with the safety question. So we need to make some upgrades to those grandstands, and we've identified an engineer and a contractor that can do the work. So cross bracing, those sorts of things, so that the grandstands can be as safe as possible. So City Council agreed, and we're going to be moving forward with that project. It'll be done before the rodeo season, right? July 4th, we have the bull riding, and after that. But another good project.
And then sticking with the rodeo grounds, Don Marsh, our Public Works Director, also presented an item to council.
Right. So Ashley is our airport manager, and of course the entire north side of the airport, north of the runway, that's actually airport property, city property, but within our airport company. And the airport leases that land to the wastewater company within our portfolio. And the wastewater company, they farm some alfalfa and different things in our process, our permit with the state of California for our wastewater operations. And so we changed the lease around a little bit, but we hired a new farmer to start farming and growing alfalfa, which is the best crop to remove nitrates out of that water. Did I get it all right, Ashley?
You got that right. And what's great on the airport side of that is, one, they will be mitigating any dust that happens while they're actually doing the planting. But once that starts growing in, that will mitigate any of the dust issues. I mean, we have Kern County Fire coming in with their helicopters that can kick up some dust on the north side. So that'll help out the ash tract that's over there, some of the homes on Denison, a lot with dust on that end. So it's a benefit to the community.
So it's going to look really nice. It'll be green alfalfa fields, which the farmer will manage and maintain. And then the farmer is going to pay money to the city so that we can, so it's a little revenue source. And then our man hours with Don Marsh's public works team, his wastewater division specifically, we're projecting 1,000 man hour reduction in our management of that. So it's win-win-win.
Okay, lots of good things that are going on. And then I want to talk about something that Mayor Smith brought up involving the airport at the meeting. But were there other topics that we covered that you want to share?
Well, we entered into an agreement with the County of Kern, which actually helps facilitate a federal grant program, which is CDBG, Community Development Block Grant. So it's a census-driven grant program. The good thing is, as our city becomes more, let's say, valuable, people are rising up, whether it's home values or, their income, household income, we're receiving less and less of this money every year. Right now, we receive about $50,000 a year, and we're able to save that for 3 years. So we end up with $150,000 roughly. And we've been utilizing that money specifically on the north side of the tracks, I Street, J, over there, and putting in curb, gutter, sidewalks, Pioneer Park, those sorts of things. So we entered into an agreement to continue our sidewalk program. And we're closing in on that. So that neighborhood will, in the next couple of years, will be fully sidewalked, if you will.
Accessibility.
Yes.
And that's a
and
big
it raises
deal.
Property values.
Sure.
And then people take more pride in their community. So again, win-win-win.
Yes.
If you haven't been to the park on the north side, Pioneer Park, it's a great little park to
It
take
is.
your kids
It's
to.
I want to say a cute little park, but it's more than that. Cute makes it sound like it's teeny tiny. It's not. I mean, you see families in there using that, and it's a part of their every day. And I think the school bus exits right there at the near the park, so the kids get a chance to kind of have a little recreation time as they.
Yeah,
get
a lot
out
of people
school.
don't know about that park.
Yeah, and with Pioneer Park, so the naming of Pioneer Park, that has to do with the part of that neighborhood being
Yeah, absolutely.
A foundation.
So, it was kind of a big learning experience for me, actually. It was, 10, 12 years ago or more. We went to the city council and said, hey, let's figure out what we want to name this park. And then everybody came out of the woodwork. You need to name it after my uncle, my aunt, my brother, my sister, and it became kind of problematic, actually. And then somebody said, why don't we just name it Pioneer Park? Man, that was like, okay, we hit the lotto. That's it. That grabs everybody. Then we don't name it after a specific person. Pioneer Park is all of us.
very appropriate.
Yeah.
I want to kind of go back to what Mayor Smith, he said, you guys met with the FAA, and Mayor Smith was just impressed with the relationship that you have, and that you were able to not have a Zoom meeting, but you have an in-person, face-to-face meeting with representatives from the FAA right here at the City of Tehachapi regarding our airport, Ashley.
We sure did. Actually had a meeting with the director of the Southwestern region, which is a big deal. For a small airport like ours. That doesn't happen very often. And we had 3 members of the Los Angeles office, ADO.
I don't know what that means.
Airport
FAA.
District Office. There we go. Yeah, they all came out, and it was a great meeting with them. Good partnership. And we hope to continue that partnership and have some good things come to fruition.
We have some big plans. We've had this taxiway and runway relocation project along with the drainage project. We're chipping away at that. But we had a good meeting with this group from the FAA, really talking about, let's get this done. And how do we get it done, right? There's a lot of bureaucracy when it comes to the FAA and federal grant money and those sorts of things. But we had a great meeting with them, and we expect to see some pretty good progress here soon.
That was a power meeting right there that took place.
It was, and it ended with a tour of the airport, and I think they got to see how well it's maintained, and it's a gem.
Well, our airport is amazing. I mean, and it supports a lot of businesses. People are making widgets and things inside those hangars that you don't know, from, executives from the Mojave Spaceport or NASA or Plant 42. They're up here kind of supporting that process. And then, of course, we have all of our general aviation folks, and it's really a well-rounded airport.
My takeaway in listening was the amount of airports that are under his purview You know,
I think 320, was that what he said?
Something like that. I mean, it's
Somewhere in
California, Nevada, Arizona, Washington, Oregon, Hawaii, Guam. This guy's a big deal.
Yeah, Western United States and the Pacific region.
Yeah.
That's a big deal that you got someone that actually now can pronounce Tehachapi. So when you say the Tehachapi Municipal Airport Manager is calling, they'll be able to know exactly where they were, you know, and have that conversation and put, I think more importantly, faces with names. It's that furthering relationships and, you know, that network that we continue to build on.
Well, you said relationships, and that's the word I was just thinking about, Key. It's relationships, because Ashley is on the board, Association of California Airports. She's a board member, and she was at a conference and met Mark, the gentleman, and through that relationship, that brought him to Tehachapi. It's all about being kind and being honest, being trustworthy, and delivering product, right? We've talked about these. We have a theme here, it seems like, but it works. And it works well for our city and our community and beyond.
Anything else that we had at the meeting that we need to bring up? Or I bounced you through the topics instead of following the order that it was.
I know that, it was not on the agenda, but Councilmember Scrivener announced that, and again, the county hasn't certified the election, but Christina Scrivener ran for the Kern Community College District, and she won, or is going to win. And so because of that, because of the potential conflict, she's going to need to resign from the Tehachapi City Council. And she's District 2, yes. I believe. Yeah. And so she's been with us, it'll be 3 years in February. Great woman, great leader. Can't thank her enough. But she's going to be resigning probably next week when she takes oath with the college district. And so the city of Tehachapi will need to fill that position. We'll be taking to city council, two options. One is, special election, which costs money, or two, receive applications and make an appointment for the duration of her term, which is, 2 years from now.
And
so
again,
that's
if
coming.
Somebody's interested, they have to live in District 2 and be a registered voter.
Right. That's exactly right. And we have the district map is on our website. You can call Ashley and talk to her about that. But we'd encourage participation. We want great people that really are independent, solid thinkers that can help us move forward.
And then to further that, we also had TVRPD. We've got the appointments for the board of directors there.
Right. So Tehachapi Valley Recreation Parks District has 5 board members. 3 of those are appointed by the County of Kern, or Zach Scrivener, his district, and then 2 of those members are appointed by the Tehachapi City Council. Right now, we have Marianne, from the owner of McDonald's. We love her. She's a great partner of not just the city, but this community and beyond, and Sandy Chavez. So Sandy Chavez's term, her 4 years is coming to an end. Not sure if she's going to reapply. Hope she does, but there's an opportunity if anybody is interested in TVRPD and becoming a board member to help out that district also. So we'll be accepting applications actually right now.
Yes,
for the next several weeks.
January 11th.
Okay.
That will be the end. So the council will appoint at the second meeting in January. So again, you need to be a city resident to fill that seat. If you're a county resident, again, you go through Zach if there's an open position there. And that term will be for 4 years.
And city resident anywhere, the board of TVRPD is not, there are no districts. So just a city resident.
Okay.
To be appointed to represent the city of Tehachapi on that board.
And you can get an application on our website, or you can stop in at City Hall and pick one up.
There you go.
This past weekend, we had it was a huge day, all day long. There were activities and events on Saturday, December 3rd here in the city, starting with the Rotary's Breakfast with Santa. The library had its Christmas book fair, the depot with photos with Santa, the free movies over at the Hitching Post.
They go on and on and on, right?
It went on until like 10 o'clock at night. And thank you to all of the volunteers, because the things that we did on Green Street with the Tehachapi Hometown Christmas was really based on volunteerism and all of those special nonprofit groups that came forward. And there were some businesses as well that were there, but it was really in support of all of these different nonprofits to give the community a Christmas feel.
Right. And it wasn't over the top. It was not commercialized, and it certainly wasn't for everyone. It was for the kids. Anywhere from 3 to 12 years old or something, and their optics are different than the adult optics. There was so much to do, the coloring, the letters to Santa, like you, Key, I cannot thank everybody enough. It was our first year. It was a test. We all passed, and I'm sure that we'll do it again.
Now, to
think
follow
so.
up on letters to Santa, if your kid writes a letter to Santa and you were not able to drop that in the box at the event, the mailbox is over by the Christmas tree on Tehachapi Boulevard.
And check out the beautiful paint job Scott's Auto Body and Lynn Bennett did the writing on it. So it just, yet another example of community involvement.
And thanks to our postmaster for getting that box
That's right.
Getting it up from Van Nuys to donate that for that purpose for the community, and that Santa Claus endorsed it.
Yep.
And for those that came to the event, Key, you put together a survey, correct? That's on our Facebook?
We did, yeah. So out on our social media right now, on our Twitter and our Facebook page, we put together a quick little survey to ask if you attended, what did you hear about it, how can we improve, would you attend next year if we did it again? So very simple, it takes less than a minute, it's like 5 quick questions. And if you'd like, you can always send us an email and give us more detail if you feel stronger about the event one way or the other. Love to hear it. And we're taking all that information and the constructive criticism so we can build upon it to make it even better for future events.
And if you didn't see the parade, man, did you miss out? That was probably the biggest, most colorful, lit up, well-attended Christmas parade I've ever, and I grew up here. And I think that was the biggest one ever on record.
The most participants.
Most participants, for sure. And then after the long day, the tree lighting ceremony, Chrissy and I, we thought, let's go run by the BK and see if there are any tickets left to A Christmas Story. They had 3 tickets left. We bought 2 and watched that show. And I tell you what, those actors and the people that produced that show, their set, the way that they changed the sets. I was just, every time I go to the BK and watch TCTA perform, boggles my mind. Those people are talented.
We had a great conversation with Chris Morales about the show. And the one thing that we did learn is if you go online and you try to buy tickets and it says sold out, still go to the box office because they hold back some tickets, for last minute purposes. So
that was great.
Don't be afraid to go to the box office if it says sold out.
It was a great show.
Excellent. And that runs through December 17th, 18th, right in there, that third weekend of December. So you've got a short run, so get the opportunity Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays has 2 matinees, so you might want to check that out.
Good stuff.
With the feedback we've been getting so far from the businesses for Saturday, very positive. Just talking to some of the mom and pop shops, the goal was to drive people downtown, help the nonprofits, help our mom and pops, and it looks like, for most part, those mom and pop shops saw a lot of foot traffic.
There were lines out the doors.
That's amazing. Just love hearing that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I know we've kind of covered, bounced around a little bit on things going on, from our city council meeting, things going on in the community. Anything else that you want to get out, or did we covered quite a bit? We're all over.
Yeah. Hopefully everybody stuck with us.
Our finance department.
We have another award. So these awards are not just because we want to put a certificate on the wall, but you have to meet a minimum criteria, and that criteria every year gets stronger and stronger. And so with the GFOA, Government Finance Officers Association, they awarded us the
Excellence of Finance?
Excellence of Finance. Thank you. I should have had that right on the tip of my tongue. Excellence of Finance. So it's how we manage the books and how we manage your dollars, right? Our budgeting and how we produce all these documents and different things. And it's not an easy task. It's not like QuickBooks where you just at home, not to say that that's not challenging, but certainly there's so many, we talk about grants and the different fundings and where the money comes from. And, we have 8 different companies that we run and different things. So we continue to push ourselves harder and harder and achieve that goal. And year over year, this is, I believe, the 4th year in a row that our finance department has achieved that milestone.
And it's
really proud of them.
It's one of those awards that recognizes transparency in government, and as you said, the proper recording of all the financials, but it's in a way that it's available, viewable to the community.
That's right.
So this is a great job by the entire finance department. It started under Hannah Chung 4 years ago when they got the first award, and it's continued on, and Hamed and now the team is.
And if you don't want to go through our 1,000-page budget, you can always call me.
Yeah.
Just ask.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think we've covered a lot, hit a lot of topics. We good?
I'm good.
Good to the next episode. Episode 98 in the books.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
We've got 99 and 100 around the corner.
Good job.
We need
Key.
to get a celebration button on your little pad there for the 100th.
We might find a little something. All right, folks. Well, both Ashley, Greg, thank you for taking the time. I grabbed you guys in the hallway and said, "Come on in, let's talk about city council." So thank you for doing that for me. I think it's good to get it out to the community as quick as we can.
It's kind of fun to be off the cuff too. You know, if I prepare too much, I probably get a lot more boring. I'm not sure.
Well, I think that it's real. I mean, this conversation is real. We're not going off of a script. This is my questions come from hearing what your answers are, and that's where it leads to the next point. And I think hopefully that's what the community is thinking too.
Yeah, when you talked about the airport, Ashley and I kind of looked at each other like,
where's he going?
We had a great meeting, and I'm not sure how deep we want to go into this because there's some things that need to be done.
Yeah.
But rest assured, we work hard on behalf of the citizens of this city. Yeah. We care.
There's a lot of effort that's put in.
That's for sure.
Yeah. All right, folks, if you have a question about anything we talked about today or something that's coming up or just a question in general, don't forget we have Coffee with the Mayor the third Thursday of each month. We'll do that again this month over at the Commons Cafe at 7:30. But you can also send us an email at media@tehachapicityhall.com. We appreciate the time you spend with us. We'll catch you again soon.
Tehachapod is a conversation about Tehachapi designed for the people who live here or who would like to know more about this mountaintop community. If you have a question you would like answered, email media@tehachapicityhall.com. We will try to answer it on a future episode of Tehachapod.